Thanks for tuning in to the Jurassic Park-Cast, the Jurassic Park podcast where guests chat with me about Michael Crichton's 1990 novel Jurassic Park, and also Not That Too. A big shout out to Christoph Oakes of Snale, and a big thank you to him for letting me use his band's music to score this podcast. You can find his music on Spotify and Bandcamp. Today's intro is from the song Sleepyhead, and the outro is Atom Age Vampire Cat in the Brain from Snale's debut album Snale. Please hear this clip from episode 43, In the Park, where there are two colorful details that I think Crichton incorporated into the story. The first is the naming of Isla Nublar, and the second is perhaps a reference to Crichton's huge television hit medical drama ER. Alright, to begin, the name Isla Nublar literally refers to the cloud cover and humid fog which usually covers the island, and we're told early in the narrative on page 36, quote, "The island is 100 miles off the west coast. It's very rugged, and it's an area of ocean where the combinations of wind and current make it almost perpetually covered in fog. They used to call it Cloud Island, Isla Nublar. Apparently the Costa Ricans were amazed that anybody would want it," says Bob Morris from the EPA while he is visiting with Dr. Grant in Montana. Then as the safety inspection team arrives at Isla Nublar on page 77, we're told, quote, "Isla Nublar was not a true island, rather it was a seamount, a volcanic upthrusting of rock from the ocean floor. Quote, its volcanic origins can be seen all over the island," Hammond says. "There are steam vents in many places and the ground is often hot underfoot. Because of this, and also because of prevailing currents, Isla Nublar lies in a foggy area." Then we're told its forested slopes were wreathed in fog, giving the island a mysterious appearance. So, Isla Nublar is literally covered in fog. Sure, that's where it gets its name, but thematically and narratively, it means more than that. Here's an excerpt from episode 43. We're told that the moon is blurred by, quote, "drifting mist" on page 233, which coincides with the portrayal of a cloudy island, which is named Isla Nublar, where Nublar is Spanish for cloud. And here's a fun aside as we're translating Nublar. Nublar doesn't just mean cloud, but it's also a verb, as in to cloud over, or to obscure, or to darken, which is fascinating. In English, this is like a cloud hanging over someone, or to be under a cloud of suspicion, meaning to be viewed with distrust. Hammond's Cloud Island, shrouded in secrecy, under a cloud of mystery. The Jurassic Expanded Universe. Okay, here is a wild theory, but here goes. Film historian Joseph McBride has made it a matter of record that while Spielberg and Crichton were developing a concept, which would later become the multiple award-winning 15-season spanning NBC super mega hit ER, Spielberg learned that Crichton was writing the novel Jurassic Park. Loving the concept and dinosaurs, Spielberg agreed to option a script for Jurassic Park before the novel was even published. So, in a world where this novel is being written and ER is being adapted at the same time, we have a Crichton character, Alan Grant, confirming that Sattler is due to marry a, quote, "nice doctor in Chicago sometime next year." Where might you find a cast of doctors from Chicago? Oh yeah, in ER. Can you imagine a world where Sattler and some hunk from ER were married? Or at least engaged? Who could Sattler be romantically linked to in Chicago? Well, I remember watching ER and not knowing it had anything to do with Michael Crichton way back then. And I think Anthony Edwards and Eric LaSalle's characters were already old and married. And call me prejudiced, but I don't think William H. Macy was Ellie Sattler's type. So that leaves either Noah Wile's John Carter or George Clooney's Dr. Doug Ross. But I don't think that wedding ever came to pass. Whatever her plans with this doctor in Chicago were, Sattler wound up marrying Dr. Raymond, as we're told in the sequel, The Lost World, on page 35. Quote, Ellen Sattler Raymond, Dodson's private investigator tells Dodson, pushed a photo across the table. Quote, botanist used to be involved with Grant, now married to a physicist at Berkeley, and has a young son and daughter. She lectures half-time at the university, spends the rest of her time at home. So, knowing that the marriage didn't go through and she wound up moving to California and marrying a physicist, who do you think between Wile's Dr. Carter or Clooney's Dr. Ross was most likely to have broken off the engagement and gone on to be a long-standing, very eligible bachelor? Damn right, George Clooney. All right, a big thanks to you for tuning in. If you're interested in more of the podcast, you can find it wherever podcasts are, and just look for Jurassic Park-Cast, include those hyphens, or Jurassic Park Podcast.
I used to worry about what people would say, but then nobody said anything.
And if you like the videos, you can like and subscribe and receive notifications when a new one is available. there's a lot more to come. Until next time.